Hey guys, I hope you're well. I've got Blitzen under my ham radio desk right now. I've got my toes tucked under his belly, and oh, are they warm. I need to explain a few things. Things have not been well lately for me. And I just wanted to do a little catch up video. I'm going to try to shoot this one time through so that I don't have to do any editing if I choose not to, although I might throw an intro and outro on. We'll have to listen. We'll have to see. Okay, I'm gonna try my best not to babble. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be doing a bit of pausing, obviously. So let me zoom in on the list of items I would like to talk to you about. Okay, hang it. Given what happened 2 days ago, let me think. Is that right? Yes, 2 days ago. Given what happened to me, item number one, my CW sending honestly surprised me. And the magnets shock me. They have juice in them. They shocked me. The difference in my MFJ 564 paddles. And yes, I looked over to see the model number. I am quite nervous, guys. And I'm keeping my sense of humor. It's part of what makes us human, and it was given as a gift to us by God, by nature, by evolution. Take your pick. Okay. A couple, no, about, when? 4 or 5, 6 days ago, I decided to try sending. Now, I haven't done much since the FCC screwed me, or I screwed myself. And had and now my license is in limbo. And if you're a new person to this channel or you haven't watched my videos about that, well, I have a problem in my past, man. And I refer you to a two-part video series I did called Answering Why to the F Question. Okay? Well, a few weeks ago, thanks to my sister, she filed a request for, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it triggered an email to me, and the FCC explained that until the matter is resolved, I'm allowed to operate normally as long as I renewed before the expiration date. But guys, unfortunately, man, that's the week I had my panic anxiety attack out by my shed. That I'm surprised it didn't kill me. Well, my license expired that week, and obviously, I'm actually stunned that I had the wherewithal to notice that week. And I filed my renewal application, but 4 days after it expired. I thought, well, I can't operate for 4 days. Well, um, no action has been taken since. That'll be 2 years ago as of June. And as the FCC said, though, until further notice, I'm allowed to operate or not because I'm 4 days late. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to know more, see my two-part series called Answering Why to the F Question. Okay, and so because of that, I'm surprised my CW sending ability didn't plummet. You know, go almost 2 years without sending CW, but that's been my case, and that's been my experience in the past. Heck, I've taken a decades-long break from ham radio and gone back to it, and my CW copying ability didn't degrade; it increased. Believe it or not. Try not to pause my or clear my throat too much here. So anyway, guys, I reached down, turned up the keyer, turned on the keyer, put my hand to paddle, and I looked at my wall. I found some text on my wall, and I had a note pinned up there that had several paragraphs on it, and I just started sending, and I couldn't believe it. I got to the end of the page. It's 3 paragraphs of text, never made a single mistake, man. Given my health issues, my neurological issues, and something we're going to talk about in a minute. I can't believe I'm still able to. Man, those magnets, those pedals, and you know, I thought my CW sending was just degrading as I aged. Yeah, not the case. My paddle's accuracy was degrading, and they became mushier and mushier with time. And putting those magnets on made them a different device. It, for the first time in a year and a half or more, I went to this site and did a POTA spot, man. You know, I haven't even gone to the site in a year and a half. I would have loved to have kept doing POTA activations, but license in limbo? No, better not. Lest the FCC levy a $10 million fine on me. So I'm going to pause you and put another piece of paper before you. One moment. Come on, phone. One moment. Guys, this is a schematic of a portion of my dim bulb tester. This hit me like you can't believe. I realized this as soon as I turned it on after making my last video, and I looked at my schematic and was crushed given my previous career. I won't say more about my previous career, and you're thankful for that. But let me say this. Let me first explain my ignorance. Commentor explained that an LED can't really take the peak reverse voltage at 120 volts AC. He suggested you throw another diode in reverse polarity across that diode to act as a type of, I guess, voltage clamp. I don't know. I had already put another diode in series with the LED to protect it from the peak reverse voltage, or to protect it from the peak forward voltage a bit. Man, I never considered that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that an LED couldn't or would be harmed or whatever, its life shortened without a protection device at 120 volts AC. That I didn't know. And thanks for the info, man. Never done anything with an LED at 120 volts AC. But the problem is here. Now, this flooded my mind when I realized what I'd done, what I'd neglected, when I realized my idiocy, or a better way to put it, my mental/technical decline. Guys, I not pause you. And I say I not pause you. I speak like that a lot because I worked with a guy that did that who was a naturalized citizen. This is something I can see my basic electronics instructor, Mr. Hart. Now, if you failed in his class, I mean, if he asked you a question and you blew it, you killed the astronaut. That's what he'd say. Mr. Kirschman, you just killed the astronaut. And he'd look at you and, okay. This is something he might have drawn on the board, on his overhead or whatever, during to start week 2. During week 1, we learned all the resistor color codes. We learned how to read resistors, capacitors, inductors. We learned he made sure we knew all the electronic symbols. I've still got my book. Well, I can see this being drawn to start off week 2. And Mr. Hart asking you, for example, and see, he wouldn't have drawn light bulbs. he would have drawn this. I am going to pause you. Mr. Hart would have drawn this. And he would have said, for example, Mr. Kirschman, when I close S1, what happens? And he'd leave it at that. He wouldn't say, what happens with D1 and D2? He'd just say, what happens? And he'd have the rest of the schematic drawn out, and it wouldn't be at 120 volts AC. This would be at a low voltage DC circuit, right? He'd say, what happens? Guys, I would have known the answer to this, and I'm not exaggerating, maybe when I was, 13-ish. That's when I started to learn electronic fundamentals a little bit more involved and accurately. I would have looked at that and said, D1 and D2 will light. And I would have been correct. Look at the two light bulbs. Well, there's one right there. Replace light bulbs with resistors, and the problem, when I realized that, man, it was crushing. Now, you possibly could make it work the way I wanted it to. Close this switch, that lights. Close this switch, that lights. Close them both, they both light. By reversing the polarity of this one diode or the other and throwing a diode there, at all times, if I close this switch, this diode's back to back, two cathodes. This will not light. This will light, this one won't, because you've got two diodes back to back. Same situation when you close the other switch. That would potentially work, but that prevents you from using a reverse bias diode in parallel with your LEDs. Oh boy, hang on. Today's Friday. On Wednesday, after Kyle got out of work, I was sitting on the couch, just doing my thing. I got kind of warm. It's been in the low 80s lately here in mid-Michigan, past couple days. Anyway, the house was comfortable, but I started getting warm. I had a box fan just inside the garage door. I decided to get up, go get the box fan, because Blitzen dearly loves having a fan pointed toward him too. With all that shaggy fur, no wonder, huh? I got up from the couch. I walked into the kitchen, and as I was passing the kitchen table, it was lights out. I dropped to the floor. Blackout, instant blackout, while standing vertically, just walking toward the garage. Boom. Like a lightning bolt out of the clear blue sky, I was rendered unconscious on my feet, and down I went, man. And on the way down, I hit the back of my head on a kitchen chair, and I came to under the kitchen table, utterly confused. I felt the back of my head, and it was fine. No cut, no bump. I got lucky. I mean, I went down through the chairs. They went flying, I looked around. I got to my hands and knees, and I started crawling toward Kyle's bedroom door. I got to Kyle's bedroom door. I knocked a couple times, and I frantically said, Kyle, I need you. I turned around on my hands and knees and headed back toward the living room, only about 10 feet away, man. I got there. I grabbed the arm of our recliner. I stood up, and boom, once again, lights out, man. Down I went. This time I remember the last sensation I had was bashing my nose on the chair arm. Bashing my nose, and it was lights out. When I came to, I was on my hands and knees. I looked to my right, and there was Kyle's legs. I knew he was with me. Oh, God. I was drenched in sweat, utterly drenched. Kyle helped me get to the couch. He got me the things I asked him to get me: water, a towel to lay on the back of the couch so I didn't soak it. You know, and he sat down with me, no doubt ready to call 911. And I asked him just stay with me for a moment. This happened one other time, although it was cardiac related. This incident here is not. And he got me the fan going and got me water. I couldn't even talk. When I got the ability to talk back, I started explaining what happened. He hadn't yet been out to the kitchen. And I asked him just to stay there until I returned more normal, because I told him I wanted to feel my pulse and tell me what he thinks. He did. Took about 15 minutes. And guys, after 15 minutes, I felt good. Not just normal, I felt good. When this happened, when I was sitting on the couch here and I started getting a little warm, I was very tired. I wanted nothing more than to lay down on the couch and watch TV, man. And I didn't get there yet. You know what I mean? But after this happened, 15 minutes after this happened, I had energy that I couldn't believe. I felt good. Kyle felt my pulse and it felt normal. I felt my pulse and it was normal for me. You know, the occasional missed beat, the occasional extra beat. And when I say occasional, 3, 4, 5 a minute. But it's been doing that for years. It gets worse. I have no doctor. I had 2 doctors in a row. First one retired. The second one just moved on, leaving me without a physician. I have new health insurance now, Part D Medicare health insurance through McLaren Hospital. I hadn't yet bothered to go through the portal and pick a PCP. I'm screwed. Well, I'm taking care of that now. Right? So, boy, 21 minutes. Might break this into 2 parts. We'll see, man. 20-minute videos are unwatchable. Or I'll just provide some fun timestamps. I don't know what I'm going to do with this video. I'll hack something together, man. That's what's been going on, guys. I have a lot of progress to... Oh, would you like something else? I didn't like... Oh, god dang, man. I didn't like the effect of the head mids. About a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, I stopped taking them. I phased myself off of them. And then I started having what I used to think were panic attacks creeping back in. I've been through enough of these guys in the last handful of months to see the difference. Yes, I'm having panic attacks. Those are due to the PTSD symptoms from Seattle. Interestingly, okay, wait a minute on that. So, and I was started to experience psychotic breaks, and during which I wasn't me, man. I had no idea until this last time. I'll leave it at that. I have to be careful when I'm talking like this, I tend to close my eyes and I find myself face planting into the phone screen. Anyway, man, there's always that, the psychotic breaks. I've been working with Kyle and Nancy intimately with this. I've shared everything with them. They are now my healthcare partners and they oversee me. I had to work this out with them. As I've learned, another terrible thing, I've basically lost most of my what you call executive functions. Don't know why. Was it the mini stroke, the TIA that I had a couple of years ago or more? I don't know. But it's what's going on with me now. Oh boy. So Kyle's providing oversight, and I'm trying to be as accountable as I can. I have to be with him. I need accountability. I need oversight. I'm coming close to having lost my ability to living independently, man. I'm really changing. Was it the was it the cessation of those headbeds? Don't know. But I've begun taking them again, and I've increased the rate at which I'm ramping up back on them. When I get my primary care physician today, I'll be discussing all of this with him or her, including the head meds and my titration rate, or the rate at which I'm changing the dosage, increasing or decreasing. That's titration. I think that's all I have to say. I'll try my best. Oh, the last two videos I did, I took them down, man. I couldn't deal with that. Could not deal with that. So I'm going to pick this whole pan of ice PCB board ice up with you rubber banded to it. Oh, would you like to see an electrolytic? Look at this, man. This came out of that Heathkit power supply, tri-mode power supply that I recapped. Check it out, man. Oh, Chuck, where do you go? Look at the vent. And that's from, I don't know when, mid 70s, early 80s. It's no newer than that. But that's its era, mid 70s to early 80s. And man, that's when, what brand is this? Is it a Mallory? Yeah, it's unbranded. It's a TJ brand. Let's say it were a Mallory capacitor. That was back in the days when it really came from Mallory. Sadly, we live in a world now, man, where even if you buy your parts from a supplier like Newark or DigiKey, they buy them from an even bigger supplier, and that supplier is buying the counterfeit shit from China. Oh, man. I hope you're well. I hope I can edit this. I hope you hung in there with me until the end, because that's where the explanation comes from. The rest is babble, man. I'll be back. I've got a whole list of other videos I wanted to do and want to do, but I need to focus on my mental health. I need to focus. Not blacking out and falling down again. And the sad thing is, man, regarding that, it came out of the clear blue sky with zero warning. What if you knew that was going to happen to you, or could? What if it was you? Imagine, man, you experienced that 2 days ago. How scared are you now? Walking through your house or your garage, wondering where you might land, what you might land on. When that happened, guys, I had gone to my sister's to do some yard work that day. It's 35 miles away. I took I-75, you know, the freeway that cuts the United States in half. Oh boy. Oh boy. What if that would have happened while I was driving? That would not have worked out well for anybody. I heard a snore. You're really zoomed in. I'm sorry about this. Oh my God. Sorry to scare you like this. Zoom you out. I'm not even going to pause you. Blitzy, I love you. Thank you, guys. This is a car crash of a video, and I just don't care. I do care that you watched it, though. Thank you for everything. Without your views and comments, who am I? What am I? Well, not much. I'll catch you later, guys. Bye now.